On the phone with us now is our reporter Abka Fitz Henley, who was there at the town hall yesterday. Good morning, Abka.
Hi, morning to you, Khalida. Good morning to our listeners.
I hear you're ecstatic about the the town hall yesterday, about the opportunity to see President Obama in the flesh.
Well, I wouldn't say ecstatic, but regardless of which way you look at it, it's a big deal. Like persons might say, you don't get excited about too much, or you don't worship man. Of course, that's not what we are doing, but we recognize an occasion for what it is. Obama coming to Jamaica is a big deal in the sense that Jamaica and the United States, we are different countries, but we have things that we share in common. One is overcoming the physical reign of British colonial rule, and therefore Jamaicans gravitate to Barack Obama because he is a symbol of achieving what many thought would not be possible. A black man assuming the post of being really the president, the boss of what really is the most powerful nation on earth.
What was it like for you
to Jamaica is a big deal.
What was it like for you just being there?
As I said, a sense of occasion. You are a part of history, and the way Obama handled himself. What you see on TV, you see him electrifying town hall meetings or audiences all across the United States. Obama is very much all that they make him out to be. Electrify the room, and he connected with many persons in the way he answered the questions, in the way he postured. I think there were several highlights of his presentation, quite apart from the fact of just being here. For example, when Obama came and he spoke, Jamaica is a country. Whether it's a remnant of our colonial past, we seem to be uncomfortable with ourselves, and some persons decry use of patois. When Obama came here and spoke the dialect, and he was lauded and got much applause.
Yes, indeed.
That I felt was a highlight, and I can't help but contrast or contemplate whether if Portia Simpson Miller went to Washington, D.C. or New York City and said, D.C. me there, or something of the sort, the same persons who were lauding Obama's use of our dialect would perhaps criticize our Prime Minister unfairly, but it's the nature of the society we live in. And a second highlight, I think, is the rivalry between Jamaica and the U.S. in terms of sport is well known, from the days of Bert Cameron, Herb McKinley, from the more contemporary days of Merlin Ottey, Juliet Cuthbert, Usain Bolt, and Shelley and Fraser Price. I think it's a big deal for the President of the U.S. to come here and say, we have got the fastest people on planet Earth.
Yes.
Meaning we, Jamaica. I had said to Shelley on Wednesday that, Obama, out of jest, I didn't think it would happen. Obama would mention you in his speech. And she said, no, sir, he doesn't know me.
He did.
And within the first few moments of his presentation, he did just that. That's a big deal for Jamaica. And I think it speaks to, he went to the Bob Marley Museum upon arriving in Jamaica first. I think that is very instructive. I mean, he didn't seem too excited about the dignitaries, but he was very excited about our sporting talent and our entertainment and the message music of Bob Marley. Perhaps that's where our leaders should invest.
Because that is what resonates on the global stage from Jamaica. Now, it was interesting to me, Abka, to see all the young politicians in the house. You had Lisa Hanna, Dr. Dayton Campbell, Imani Duncan Price, Marlene Malahoo Fort, Kamina Johnson-Smith, and others. I want to take a clip from Lisa Hanna. And this is what she had to say after I asked her, what did you learn from him as a politician? And this is what she had to say.
I have been very, very moved by the overall day in different ways. I think from this morning when we met him at the office of the Prime Minister, it was very, very clear that you were speaking with somebody who knew how to temper their power with certainly their down-to-earth side. And that was really cool to be around because he certainly was a typical Jamaican, not caught up with himself, not, walking around with any illusions of grandeur. And he was very, very courteous and his manners were very, very impeccable. He's definitely a smooth operator, has a very strong passion for youth development and young people. He mentioned that in discussions several times at the office of the Prime Minister. And so it was very clear that there were going to be announcements today about apprenticeship and youth exchange, etc. As a politician and certainly as a young leader, I have learned several things from this. Here is someone who, regardless of their ratings in the polls, because I think his ratings now are 47%, his ability to have the kind of temperance to take decisions that are courageous have never been altered. That has never happened, I don't think, certainly from what I've seen. He errs on the side of doing what he feels is in the best interest of not only minorities, but I think in the best interest of those people who are young people and persons who, on the whole, need the kind of a hand up. His value systems are very synonymous with mine. I believe that more young people need to get involved in governance and politics so that we can stamp out corruption and have more transparency and accountability. That is not an easy thing, because when you start asking those questions, especially if you're in leadership, you get bludgeoned. But I will always stay that course, and this has just reinforced that for me today. His practicality, I mean, it's very clear he rolls his sleeves up and gets the job done. Coming away from it, it's great to see a leader in my generation who will go down as one of the world's best leaders, I think. And I think for the young people here, they would have been motivated to the highest. And I'm very pleased to have been here. The president is someone who gets it, regardless of what it is. He kind of just gets it. He's honest. He holds no punches. He's very clear where the U.S. has went wrong. He's not trying to tell you that they're the greatest thing since sliced bread. But at the end of the day, he wants to be on the right side of history. And the energy in the room was great. I think all of these young people here, whatever they do in life, this would have been life-changing for them.
As Youth and Culture Minister Lisa Hanna. Before we come back to you, Abka, I want to play one more response. This one coming from Chef Brian Lumley, who had asked President Obama a question about what advice he would give himself. And so afterwards, I asked Chef Lumley what he made of that advice.
Satisfied, I was ecstatic, and he really thought about it. Yeah, it didn't seem like a political answer. Why it's important, I think, is because seeing that, it gives me a glimmer of hope that, hey, Jamaica, although it's rough, there is a foreseeable future. It's just going to take a little long to get there. And with those changes with the U.S. reaffirming their support, with him visiting here, for a young person like myself and a young entrepreneur who's on the brink of giving up on Jamaica to move elsewhere or something, and a lot of people feel that way, it gives you that hope to a reassurance that, Jamaica can get better, and hopefully the people in power will take that heed.
Abka, that response from Chef Lumley really caught me a little bit off guard, because he is one of the people who Jamaicans cite as a success story. And he's here saying, I've been on the brink of just wanting to give up on Jamaica. But President Obama has inspired me to stay.
Indeed, not only did he inspire persons to stay, he also made a signal point telling the people of Jamaica and other countries that they should insist that and hold the government accountable. I thought that was a highlight. A point made by Minister Hanna regarding Obama. Who exactly is Obama? He has a unique combination of charisma, he has humility, and he has an aura of authority, but not so much so that you don't feel comfortable interacting with him. For example, when he was greeting a number of persons at the town hall meeting after presenting, and I shook his hand and said, "Thank you for coming." He said, "I'll be coming back home," making the point that Jamaica resonates with him. Obama is a unique politician, a unique human being, and I think he understands his place in history and is determined to make a change in our world for the better.
Hearing Chef Lumley, and this comes on the heels, of course, of that study by the University of the West Indies saying so many of our young people don't want to stay. They want to seek out greener pastures in Obama's America. How important was it that he specifically addressed the youth, the young people of this country?
It's a cliche, but it's perhaps a cliche because it is so true. The young persons are the future, yes? They will determine the future of our world and what direction it will take. And it's not something unique to Jamaica. It's not something he only does in the United States. Wherever he goes, Barack Obama will address young persons, well, more times than not. It's part of his style. It's something that he does regularly because, as I said, he understands his place. He understands his influence. And you might not agree with some things he says, but you can appreciate the logic of where he's coming from. And, in a society, in a Jamaica where critical thinking, I think there's a deficit of it, Obama is a study, yes? Obama is a study for young persons who want to progress and want to develop and foster critical thinking because at the end of the day, your thought process on how you approach various situations in life will, in many ways, dictate just how far you get.
Thank you for joining us this morning, Abka.
Thank you for having me, Kalila.
All the best. All right, that's the front page. Up next, Across Jamaica.